Shock Treatment the movie is rated PG, but Shock Treatment Minute is rated F for
Fabulous!
We're going to spend this time discussing the movie in gory detail, and along the way we'll talk about adult content and use adult language. Consider yourselves warned.
Welcome to Shock Treatment Minute, the only podcast where we discuss the movie Shock Treatment in excruciating detail, 1 minute at a time. I'm one of your hosts, Kelly.
And I'm your other host, Leandra.
And today we'll be discussing Minute 7 of Shock Treatment.
Minute 7 already. That's so exciting.
I know. The things we can accomplish when we have a regular recording and production schedule. But what happens in Minute 7?
Minute 7?
Of Shock Treatment.
Of Shock Treatment.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad you asked, because I came prepared with a write-up for this very occasion. We begin with a close-up of some of the audience members continuing to sing along and leaning to their right. But then there's very quickly a shot of the DEN players, Emily and Harry Weiss and Officer Vance Parker, doing their signature moves again, exactly the same way, because this is reused footage from literally seconds ago. The next view is a wide shot of the full audience continuing to sing, but at the end of the line they all collectively lean to their left. We get another quick reused shot of the TON players doing their signature moves, including the extremely unenthusiastic hop from the cheerleaders. We see the audience again, and once again at the end of the line they lean back over to their right. So the lyrics up to this point, and I will add in when the audience is leaning, your lean, the home of youth, your lean, America's truth, your lean, Denton, USA. But this song is epic, so we're not done yet. We get a key change and the pom-pom wipe again, and then the audience stands up, proudly continuing to sing. But now they replace the leans with claps. They sing, Denton, you've got clap, no pretension, your clap, where the heart is, you're okay. And while this is happening, there's a slow zoom in on the John Candy audience member. Then the camera switches to the TON players, where the cheerleaders and Macy stay completely still, and Ralph air drums with his phones. When we move back over to see the audience, we close up on Brad and Janet. Janet is singing and participating normally, and Brad is kind of staring and trying to figure out the rhythm of the claps. The lines go, Denton, I just clap, like to mention your clap. And then, irritably and like a second later, Brad claps during the first words of the next line of the song, and Janet briefly stares at him in mild annoyance. Then we get the most terrifying close-up face shots back-to-back of the following people, all smiling broadly. First, Emily, then Harry, then Frankie, and then Vance. We go back to Brad and Janet. Janet continues to smile and participate in the clapping and singing, and Brad is staring off into space. He looks a little defeated. We get another close-up shot of only the faces of Brenda, followed by Ralph. So fuck Macy, I guess, because she doesn't get a close-up. Then, on the last words of the song, Brad raises his hands to clap again. Janet sees him and stops him. The final lines during this bit are, the acceptable face, clap, of the human race, your clap, Denton, USA, and then the audience all sits down quickly and collectively. So the song is over, and the camera turns to a woman warmly and broadly grinning. She's wearing extremely reflective gold 1-inch circle earrings, a pink long-sleeved dress shirt with the collar popped, and a light blue short-sleeved blazer, also with the collar popped. More about her costume in a few minutes when we see a wider shot of what she's wearing. And she says, well, how about that? And under her face the name Betty Hapshat appears in all caps with white lettering. She continues, wasn't that terrific? And the show opens wider to reveal that Betty is seated in the Denton Dossier TV set behind what looks like a news anchor desk. There are three techie cameraman types capturing what she's saying as she says, and now for, well, certainly my favorite part of the show, and I sincerely hope yours at home, our regular in depth discussion. And while she's speaking, Neely and her two-man crew of Perry Bedden and Rufus Collins sneak from inside the Denton Dossier's private office over to the audience. Neely leans over to her camera operator, Perry, and whispers, and Kelly, you helped me figure this out like
This
five
was a
minutes ago.
team effort.
Yeah. We are of the opinion that Neely is whispering, get the whole crowd, the dressing room right there. And when she's gesturing at the audience and she points over to the dressing room, it's because Farley Flavors is walking into the dressing room. And we'll discover fairly quickly why she would care about that. The camera pans back to Betty, who concludes her introduction by saying, with Judge Oliver Wright. And that's the end of the minute.
Yeah. Biggin.
It's a good one.
So, before we go any further, Leandra,
Yes.
we finished a song.
We finished a song. And Kelly, I think this time we should rate it out of 5.
That's fair. F4, 5. What is your rating?
I think that it is possibly a 5 for me.
Wow.
A 4.5 or maybe a 5. No, I'll say 4.5 just because I don't even know that it's my favorite song on the soundtrack, but it is so fucking good.
It's great. I do really like it. I think I'm going to give it a... I'm torn between a 4 and a 4.5, so let's say 4.25.
That's fair. So I'll say 4.75 then.
Okay. Just to balance it out.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
We're kooky. This is our podcast. And the reason that I love it so much is it has this wonderful, enthusiastic energy. And
Yes.
I can't help but smile when I hear it. It's so fun to sing it.
It is great, and it does an incredible job of setting the movie up. I mean, it tells us kind of everything we need to know without words about it. Tells us everything we need to know about the citizens of this town and how they, their values and everything.
They value a conference room and a children's playground.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it uses some words, but there's also subtext, that is really important. And then the scene in general just sets up this weird dystopia we're living in so beautifully. It is just a really, really strong opener and a great song. The only reason I didn't give it like a 5 or anything is I guess it's kind of like it can't really exist outside the world of the musical. Like I will listen to it in the car and I will almost crash my car clapping when my hands should be on the wheel. But I wouldn't like listen to it outside of the context of the soundtrack,
If I am listening to a song from Shock Treatment just on its own, there's a chance that it's this one. Like, I enjoy...
Not me, but I love the energy. Like, it really establishes such a high energy, too. It's great.
And I think the song is great, but the clapping off time by Brad makes it, like, truly amazing. It is such a theatrical choice to establish, not just with the lines, not just with, like, his physicality, that he is honestly acting like a freak.
Weird, bewildered expression.
Yeah, but even his choreography is do not be normal.
Yes. Because this is so normal.
It is. This is very normal behavior.
It's normal stuff.
I mean, to be fair, it's normal in this universe.
Yes, I know. I'm just he's not conforming.
Yeah.
And that's the issue with Brad.
And we hate it, apparently.
Yeah. So that's an average of 4.5, but a very, very positive review from both of us.
Absolutely. So, song is done, song is over. We get this complete tonal change. And Betty is, to me, the first character dressed like she could have only been from the 1980s.
What?
Truly. Like,
What about no? What about Janet's mom, Emily Weiss?
oh, I
That is
don't
the
clock
most
that as
80s outfit
80s.
ever. Oh,
I
it is the most 80s outfit ever. What other decade do you get that style of oversized, weird sleeves and that type of makeup application?
Yeah, I don't clock it as that to me, and maybe it's just like a a bias because I don't think that she's hot, but like I just kind of see her as like typical mom, like older mom.
You're thinking that because what your idea of an older mom has fashion sense that came from the 80s.
That's possible.
100%.
Yeah.
Um
But
but
still,
yeah.
Betty is like she's definitely a power.
Yeah, she's like she's giving something different. But to be clear, like Emily Weiss's outfit was fashion and her makeup fashionable in the 80s.
I'm sure.
100%. So like they very much so, and also the wardrobe lady, that is a crazy 80s outfit.
I think that that is fairly timeless, like just for me.
Well,
But
what other decade though?
timeless?
That's not a decade.
I right, I'm not
Like,
saying that
but
there is
I'm
a
no, but I'm
decade.
saying like you wouldn't have seen that in the 70s, you wouldn't have seen it in the 90s. You would only see
Okay.
that in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
She's wearing like prescription aviator glasses.
for me, and it admittedly this is because of when I watched it, like those were super in fashion with like hipsters when I first watched this, and I don't know. Like all I was saying is to me, Betty was my first like really this is an outfit that couldn't be on the street again.
Yeah. I think that's true of a lot of the outfits, but it is definitely a very 80s power suit.
Yeah. I love the shoulder padded look. It's just extremely visually evocative of like that very specific silhouette that that in my mind all 80s businesswomen strived for, like kind of the angry X. It was the era where blocky shoulder pads were like super king.
Yes.
And I know that we talked about this earlier today. I really enjoy that back wall behind Betty. It's repeating DTVs. Like that is so cool.
Yeah, I wrote that down as well. It's fun how it to try and spot how much DTV branding is in the background of this movie. It reminds me of Strangers with Candy, how Principal Blackman's face would just be printed on like random things throughout the school, like the
Oh yeah.
squares of toilet paper and things like that. But like it's kind of like that in this movie, and it's a very kind of funny, subtle background gag that they're so intense with their branding, and this was a place where like they could have done basically nothing or just the show logo on the back wall and nobody would have noticed or cared. You know what I mean? Like
But
the
instead, Brian Thompson.
well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's not even just like printed on, which also would have been easy. It's 3D like pretty I don't even know like that would have been much more expensive and involved to produce.
Oh, for sure.
It's just crazy. Yeah, that's the kind of attention to detail in the sets of this movie that I think people don't pay enough attention to. Like the average viewer doesn't give it enough credit for this, but like there were plenty of opportunities to just be lazy in this movie that nobody took.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to Betty. I promised to talk a little more about Ruby Wax when we saw her up close and personal. And so that time has come. Ruby Wax is an actually amazing choice as an actor for this role. It's almost like Hitchcock used to cast actors specifically not only for the normal reasons that you would cast somebody, but he would also take into account what other roles they were known for, because he considered that very important. They were bringing, if you cast Jimmy Stewart, you're getting all of his previous roles that people know him from too as an association or whatever. So it's almost like that with Ruby Wax, because she she was famous mainly as a comedian interviewer on like talk shows and like news shows, who specifically parodied like kind of irritating American style. That's what she got famous for, basically.
So she was like an early version of, I'm guessing, like a Stephen Colbert.
I mean, kind of. There were a bunch of shows like this. Some of them came later too. I mean, she worked for a long time. She also was in a sitcom called Girls on Top that was very popular. And also, if anyone's familiar with Absolutely Fabulous or Ab Fab,
I know I am.
it's a great British comedy show. She worked on that. I think she was a script editor, and she also is in a couple episodes. But here's something else that's interesting that happened much later than this movie. She ended up getting a master's degree in mindfulness based cognitive therapy and became a visiting professor in mental health nursing, and she actually got special honors from the Order of the British Empire in 2015 for services to mental health, which is very, very ironic if you know what's going to happen later in this movie and some of the themes. So, yeah.
Wait,
Uh,
so you're saying that she would be able to answer whether or not this bird belongs to us?
well, in a way, she would answer that. And not the most helpful way, but she would provide an answer, and she might later in
Okay,
this film.
that's exciting. Something to look forward to.
As a character, I something I've noticed about Betty, I think she's the only Denton resident or Dentonite that is faking it for the cameras that we know of. I can't think of anybody else. Like, everyone we see is either all in drinking the Kool-Aid, as far as we know, or just completely cynical in the case of like Oliver Wright.
Yeah, and we're going to find out a little bit later that maybe there's a reason that she's a little bit soured
Mm-hmm.
to the Denton experience, DTV, Denton Vale in general. So it'll be interesting to discover that with her audience.
I think it's interesting that she is putting on a front though on this show, at least at first.
Oh, for sure.
And it's I mean, that's a true career woman right there. That's just like me at work. Final note on Betty.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was very funny that she said, "My favorite part, and I hope yours at home." Well, this is their home, I think. So,
It's at least their home when they're filming. Like, everybody's stuck in the bubble forever.
yeah. All the viewers are feet away from her, so I thought that was a very funny line. Yeah, so those are my initial Betty notes. I love Ruby Wax and I love Betty in this movie. She's a real highlight. I think even people who really don't like this movie love her performance.
Yeah, she is an absolute just treasure to watch. What she's doing is all very intentional, but very goofy.
Mm-hmm.
So I had one final note about her costume, and it was that I'm actually really surprised by how shiny her earrings are. Like, they're
Mm-hmm.
not flashing lights into the audience's eyes, but I'm just thinking about how under stage lights or like set lights, you typically shy away from things with mirror finishes because you don't want there to be that reflection.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just the style at the time, much like tying an onion to your belt. You see that kind of chunky, shiny gold jewelry on
Yeah.
every. Emily Weiss had it. It's, I mean, what can I say? It's either that or really weird layered, like random things, or both.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. It's not very realistic for TV shooting.
Although I'm happy that they went with it
Oh yeah.
because like honestly, it it's so visually interesting. It adds a different texture to the outfit. And like that's why Sue Blaine, as much as Rocky fans sometimes curse her, she's also just such a such a delightful creator of things that are fun to look at.
Oh no, she's wonderful and a truly inspired costumer. Even though there is, as you say, that running joke, I don't know if I assume anybody who knows anything recognizes her real skill at costuming.
For sure. And
She is the Brian Thompson of costuming.
I was about to say, I'm just so happy that it is canonically accurate that Sue Blaine and Brian Thompson are buddies who went on a road trip together.
Yeah. Um I actually, and on the topic of Sue Blaine, I have two costume notes about audience members.
Go for it.
The outfit on the guy who is sitting on the right of John Candy, so not the tiny cowboy on his left, but the kind of Eddie Murphy looking guy on his right.
I had a note that looks like Eddie Murphy, and I wasn't sure, like, if you were gonna go, I don't know why you would say that.
No, he does look like Eddie Murphy. And I was like, are people going to say that I'm saying that because he's black? And I'm like, no, he doesn't look like any black man. He looks like Eddie Murphy. He just does. But anyway, he's wearing his costume's amazing, or his outfit, and I just wanted to shout it out. He's got this like red and white hat and then a true Dan Flashes shirt. It's a pattern it's a very complicated pattern that I've never seen before in my life. I have no idea where Sue Blaine found this. I mean, I guess that's the 80s for you. It's like black and white, I think very close together black and white polka dots. They might be checks, but they looked like dots. And then it has like really big red and orange and white dots all over it, but not even they're huge and of various sizes, like basically like big circles just kind of randomly placed all over it. It's a very weird pattern.
Absolutely. Very fun to look at, though, and
Oh yeah. I love it. And I mean, I'm sure it was expensive because it was such a complicated pattern.
I mean, I'm just so thrilled that Sue Blaine had so many great thrift finds.
I know. I know. And my other one is this isn't as much a costuming note, but just on the topic of the audience. The guy who's right behind Brad is so cute and giving such a fun performance when you see him like up closer when we're close in on Brad and Janet.
Oh yeah. There was a callback that was related to him that I didn't feel like really you had time to mention within callbacks, but the callback is that he looks kind of like the Six Flags guy.
Aw, I guess he kind of does.
Yeah.
But and, and he resembles the Six Flags guy not just because he's like an older gentleman who kind of looks like that, but he's he is so enthusiastic and smiling so cutely, and he's clapping like with so much energy. And then he when they kind of do like a little bit of like I think that the audience note was to just kind of dance amongst themselves, but he does this fun little like boogie with both of his fists pumping. It's so cute.
I also like that he's not just clapping kind of at chest level, he's
Mm-hmm.
clapping above his head so that you can see that he's clapping.
Like, you
He's
can
like,
just
gotta get away from Cliff DeYoung's massive head.
you can just tell that this was a fun day on set for him, and that makes me happy. And he looks very sharp in a pastel green suit and a blue bucket hat. A lot of bucket hats in the audience, even with suits. Interesting
Yeah,
choice, but it was a different time.
I mean, it's very much a gone fishing sort of bucket hat too. It almost
Yeah.
looks like there are lures on the front of it.
Very much not a hat I would ever have thought I would see with an outfit like that, but it's cute.
I love it. But those are all my notes.
You kind of mentioned it, but I just to make a Rocky reference, I did write same shots, no filter, cheap movie,
Yeah.
which should be a callback if it's not.
And I didn't see that it's a callback, but like truly it should be.
Well, it is now.
Yeah.
Like you said, whatever callbacks make you smile when you're doing shock treatment, just do them and tell them Kelly sent you.
This time, like as I was going through callback notes, I actually rewatched the minutes and tried to yell them with the movie just to make sure that like my research makes sense. And when you say these things, you actually have the time to say them.
Yeah, that's good journalism there.
Hey, I'm here for everyone.
Speaking of journalism, my final note is that I love the detail, and this happens over and over again in the show, but very frequently we're watching things unfold through a screen, and then of course through our real screen, but like we'll be watching it through like a fuzzy TV screen on screen.
Yeah. Or you're watching a cameraman record what
Mm-hmm.
you're seeing. I love these shots.
Mm-hmm.
They are far more intentional looking than I think we could have possibly ever hoped for.
Yes, absolutely. And I think this Denton dossier scene, I'm mentioning it now because I think this Denton dossier scene is the first time, or at least the first time we get that extensively. Well, those are my notes.
Well, cool. Do you have any callbacks that you can think of other than what we've already talked about?
No, not besides the one I just
Okay.
made up.
Well, I've got some fun ones. Starting with right as the key change happens, you can say stand up if you think current overrated bad movie or even this movie was a bad movie. So you go stand up if you think this movie sucks, and then everybody stands up.
That's good.
And then later on, you can go, hey Brad, clap like a white guy.
He's
And he claps off beat.
clapping like Rufus.
It's so true. Right after he does that, you can go, the Oswald prison transfer had better choreography. When you see the close ups of different faces, you really only have time to react to Ralph's, and you react to that with a scream because his is the biggest and scariest.
I was actually going to ask if people scream during those because that's something that happens in Rocky a lot when there's close-ups and they are genuinely terrifying.
Yeah. Similarly to Rocky, there's really one person that gets the yell, and when people are repeating Creature of the Night, for instance, it's Columbia that you go like ah.
Yeah.
Um, this time it's Ralph that you go ah to.
Yeah.
And then you see Brad preparing to clap at the very end of the song, and you can go, okay, Brad, clap one more time. Are you ready? And then as everybody sits down, you go, psych. If you don't say psych, you have time to say last one to sit down sits in the wet spot.
Ew, but true.
And if you don't say that, you can say, hey Betty, how about this? You say while you gesture to your crotch. And then Betty says, well, how about that? And you say, I just came. And she says, wasn't that terrific? And you go, no, or it was okay.
I Just realized that her line is word for word from the same as Sweet Transvestite, too.
Yeah.
Wonder if that was intentional. I could see that going either way.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say it was. Definitively it was.
Yeah, let's lock in that that's
If I'm
intentional.
wrong, write me, Richard O'Brien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Write me, fight me.
Yeah.
Whatever. And now, well, certainly my favorite part of the show, you
And I
can
hope
say,
yours at home.
but
Oh,
after she
sorry.
says,
I didn't realize you were doing a callback. I thought you were ending the show.
no. But that will make the callback even funnier.
Okay.
When she says, and now for, well, certainly my favorite part of the show, you go, the end. Oh, ho, 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 ho. You know,
Yeah, Statler
like
and
Statler and
Waldorf.
Waldorf.
Yeah.
When she's talking and you see Neely and the camera crew running over to the audience, you can go, I think John Denver's plane crashed somewhere over here. And I don't know if we're reacting to the fact that we see Judge Wright right at the beginning of this for like a split second. If not, then I shall holster these callbacks for next minute.
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's hard to say like at what second or millisecond we cut it off at. I had it as him filling the screen at the beginning of next minute, but it doesn't really matter.
Instead of filling your pants.
Yeah.
Okay, I will hold off on those until next minute then.
Sounds good.
Alright, so I guess that means that I have one final question for you. And that question is, does this bird belong to you? You had time to mention within callbacks, but it's
Just
essentially
like
that he's the
mention. I'm sorry, you said mention.
oh. Sorry, I forgot that you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Well, that's on you. I don't know what to say at this point.
But fuck Macy, I guess.